Welcome to my first podcast, On Point. Taiwan is sending the U.S. 2 million more masks for a total of 10 million, as reported by Christina Wong at Breitbart. She reports Taiwan this week announced it will donate 2 million more masks to the U.S., continuing its humanitarian support for its allies during the coronavirus pandemic. In total, Taiwan is donating 10 million masks to the U.S., the European Union member states, and other European nations. Taiwan's 2 million mask donation is in addition to the 100,000 masks per week provided to the U.S. The donations are under the Taiwan-U.S. Epidemic Prevention Cooperation Framework. Taiwan is also donating 7 million masks to the EU. Taiwan said now that it has taken care of its domestic needs, the government can direct its attention towards international support. And I wrote, nowhere in Ms. Wong's report does she say what kind of masks Taiwan is sending us. Is it the much-needed N95 masks for doctors and nurses and orderlies? Really bad reporting there, I think, by Ms. Wong. However, God bless our anti-communist friends in Taiwan. Left-wing Kentucky Governor Beshear vetoes the voter ID bill, but will likely be overridden by the legislature, as reported by John Binder at Breitbart. He writes, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, has vetoed legislation that would mandate state voters to show a photo ID before they vote in the 2020 presidential election and every election after. According to Beshear, requiring voter ID creates, quote, an obstacle that results in fewer people voting, though research and data show otherwise, writes Binder. In Alabama, which has a mandatory voter ID law, Black American voters came out in droves in 2018 to help elect Doug Jones, a Democrat, to the U.S. Senate. Beshear's veto of the legislation is likely to be overturned by the Republican-controlled Kentucky House and Senate, as the voter ID requirement was passed out of both houses by a supermajority. Of course, that could change. There'll be a lot of political pressure, as you know, folks, by the Chamber of Horrors and others to allow illegals to vote. In December, Beshear restored voting rights to more than 140,000 convicted felons via executive order. The felons are those convicted of, quote, non-violent crimes, though violent criminals, as Binder cogently writes, often plead down to non-violent drug offenses to shorten their prison sentences. I mean, this is just unforgivable by this left-wing governor. And I wrote, leftists never learn, and they never stop trying to free criminals and give amnesty to other criminals known as illegal aliens. Felons and illegals, many of whom are unindicted felons, will probably vote 90% Democrat. Report. India's H-1B companies ask Labor Department and DHS to let foreign workers stay amid the coronavirus crash, even though by law, laid-off H-1Bs must be deported or must self-deport the U.S. in 60 days. That's my version of title by Neil Monroe at Breitbart. He reports the Indian-based NASSCOM, that's NASSCOM, business lobby is asking the Department of Labor to help the lobby keep its huge Indian workforce of H-1B temporary workers in American jobs throughout the coronavirus crash, according to the report in the Times of India. Quote, everyone that has been involved in the H-1B program has skirted the rules to stay in the U.S., said one lobbyist. Quote, these companies do not want to have to fire these H-1B workers and send them back to India. They want to hold them here so they can grab jobs. That's so these workers can grab jobs in the recovery that's coming, he said. If the administration moves forward in relaxing regulations governing the H-1B programs amid spiking unemployment, get ready for the pitchforks, said Kevin Lynn. He must be a friend of Pat Buchanan's, no? He's the founder of U.S. Tech Workers Group that opposes the H-1B program. Quote, When people have nothing left to lose, they will lose it. And they will direct it at the elites, unquote. Very cogent comment by Mr. Kevin Lynn. The H-1B is the largest of many visa programs. OPT, H-4, EAD, L-1, TN, CPT, E-3, and B-1, which keep roughly 1 million Indian contract workers plus more than 200,000 aliens from China and other countries in a wide variety of white-collar jobs throughout the U.S. Few of the H-1Bs are more skilled than the American graduates, and most are rated, these are the Indian workers, are rated entry-level or qualified workers in the H-1B process. Roughly 100,000 new H-1B aliens arrive each year. These contract workers have to go home after 6 years unless their U.S. employer nominates them for a green card. CEOs like to tout payroll savings when they announce H-1B contracts to Wall Street stick pickers. But the short-term savings are typically wiped out by lower productivity, lower innovation, higher training costs for these Indian workers, and massive feather bedding among Indian contractors, say Americans who have helped import H-1B workers. Even those that are helping the aliens take our jobs are telling us what's really going on. I wrote Monroe, that's Neil Monroe who wrote this piece, doesn't mention it, oddly enough, but hundreds of thousands of H-1B Indian nationals never leave the U.S. when they lose their jobs, and they overstay. Overstayers are rarely pursued by ICE and DHS. And on the pandemic front, common anti-parasite drug ivermectin may kill coronavirus in under 48 hours, say some Australian researchers. That's my version of a title by Bob Price at Breitbart. He reports researchers in Australia report that ivermectin, an FDA-approved drug commonly used to treat parasites in cattle, horses, etc., appears to be effective in treating the SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 virus. The drug is widely available and can be repurposed for this application. Ivermectin is an inhibitor of the COVID-19 causative virus in vitro. That's in the Petri dishes. They haven't tested it yet in humans. A single treatment able to affect a 5,000-fold reduction in virus at 48 hours in cell culture. Ivermectin is FDA approved for parasitic infections and therefore has a potential for repurposing. Ivermectin is widely available due to its inclusion on the World Health Organization model list of essential medicines. The leader of the research team, Dr. Kylie Wagstaff, issued a statement, I can't do it in Australian accent, saying, quote, ivermectin is widely used and seen as a safe drug. We need to figure out now whether the dosage you can use it at in humans will be effective. That's the next step, Newsweek magazine reported. Quote, we found that even a single dose could essentially remove all viral RNA by 48 hours, and that even at 24 hours there was already significant reduction in it, unquote. The World Health Organization approved the use of ivermectin in humans to treat onchocerciasis in 1987. And I wrote, it has not been proven that ivermectin and azithromycin are safe being taken together. Still, this is a huge study at a time when infected patients are desperate for a cure. I'm Dave Levine, On Point. Thanks for watching.